We are going to replace the rear airbags on this Ford Expedition. The first step / procedure is to jack up the rear of the truck, like so. Before we jack up the vehicle, we want to make sure that the front wheel is blocked so the vehicle doesn't roll off the jack or roll away. As you can see, we now have the rear of the vehicle jacked above the rear differential. As you can see, we placed jack stands on the rear side, well actually both sides of the rear side of the vehicle, just in case if the jack itself fails.
I will be taking over for these next couple of shots. This is the rear airbag suspension. If you listen, you can hear the air escaping. And as I put my finger over it, it stops. This is why we are replacing them. Stand by and we'll get you a closer shot. Okay, we are back. You can still hear the airbag leaking. Air is escaping. You can see it's all uniform and looks pretty pliable until you get to the bottom. This is because the bottom here, where it rolls over, rides on this plastic cup. And it goes up and down. And as it goes up and down, this rubber right here rolls under it. That's where you get your airbag suspension. Right now, the air suspension pump just turned on. It is now trying to lift the vehicle, and you're going to see it. You can see how it works. It lifted a little. Now there's more air escaping. But anyways, you can see how all this has deteriorated. That's why we are replacing them. So stand by. This is the passenger side front door of the vehicle. As you enter, you will go under the dash. And underneath the dash, you will see the switch. This is where it's located for the 97 to 02 Expedition and Lincoln Navigator. It will be in different locations for various makes and models. As you see, it's on right now. Since we're going to be working on the airbag system, we're going to disable it and turn it off.
For easier removal and installation, we will be removing both rear wheels. We will place the lug nuts on the running board so we do not lose them, and we will remove the wheel.
Now that the rear wheel is off, you will be able to see the brake rotor, the brake caliper, your shock absorber, and there is your airbag right here. There's that bottom portion that is rotted out. This right here is the top of the airbag. And if you look in here, there is a metal pin. You will pull this pin to remove the airbag. You can just do this with your bare hand, usually. There we go. The pin comes out. The airbag is now loose at the top. There is no hardware that holds the airbag in the bottom. Stand by and I will show you how that goes in. Okay, here we have one of the new replacement airbags. You can see this a bit better. You can see how this is slotted. That's where that metal pin goes in here. This goes through a metal bracket with the hole, which accepts this. This is your alignment dowel, so it does not spin or twist. The metal pin goes in here, locks it in from the top. On the bottom, this is what you'll see on the bottom. This plastic, I guess you could call it a perch or a saddle here. This sits on a saddle on your rear differential. This goes in here. This metal pin locks into a circle in there. These little teeth, they lock in. That's what holds it in from the bottom. That and the pressure of having air in the system. While we have it out, this is where your air solenoid goes. You will replace the O-rings, which we'll show you later. The air solenoid will go in there, and you'll have a metal clip which goes in here to hold the solenoid in place so it does not come out. Okay, please stand by.
Now we are removing the other wheel on the other side. We are now going to pull the pin on the other side.
And just like that, the pin has been removed.
Now we are going to remove the jack underneath the differential. As you can see, the vehicle is supported by the jack stands from each side underneath the frame. And also there's more accessibility to the airbags.
Okay, I wanted to show you this. Now that the vehicle is lifted by the frame, not underneath the differential, and the differential has come down, the suspension is at its absolutely lowest, which would be when the wheels are on, the vehicle would be at its highest. So before, all we could see is up to here. Now you could see underneath where it rolls, and it's still fine underneath. But this portion here, where it actually rolls and the suspension is active and it goes up and down as you hit bumps and drives, this is what breaks down and wears. I just wanted to show you that. This is the solenoid, which lets the air in and out of the top of the airbag. You'll see there's an electrical connection and an air line and a metal clip. We are now going to remove the metal clip. I'm not going to be able to film this. I'll show you afterwards. Here is the clip that we just removed. We just used a little L-shaped pick. Okay, here's the things that are going to get a bit nasty here. Let's see if I can get this for you. I'm going to close my eyes. There we go. Relieve the air pressure. I'm glad I shot that, because you could see when that pin was pulled from the top, the bag will drop right down. And then the bottom here, I'll get a screwdriver under it in a minute and pull it up, and I'll show you that. Stand by. Not sure if I'll be able to film all this. I'm going to try. There we go. Maybe from this angle. Just put a flathead screwdriver underneath here and pry it right up. The entire bag will come loose. You can then squeeze it down and we can remove it. I'll pull it out and inspect it with you. Okay, here we have a quick comparison of new and old. As you can see, the old one looks taller and wider, and that's because it's been inflated with the air and has been an active working suspension component for the last 9 years on this vehicle. That's when I replaced these 9 years ago. This one will look the same way as soon as we put it on and it airs up. But there's what they look like. The original ones were Motorcraft. This one's aftermarket. Lasted 9 years. The original Motorcraft lasted 9 years. This is a Chinese aftermarket. They're $70 ship for both of them. No way you could pass that up. I just couldn't spend the money on OEM Ford. So anyways, that's a comparison. Stand by for the rest. Okay, wanted to show you this. This is the air solenoid. Now that it's been removed, there's these two tabs that hold it in. You put it in, turn it, locks in. Here's your O-rings right here. So we're going to replace those. The new kit comes with the O-ring service kit. I'll show you that in a second. Here's the kit in a bag. You have new O-rings and a new metal retaining clip. Okay, here's the solenoid. I've cleaned it, I've removed the old O-rings, and I've installed 2 new O-rings. I will put a light coat of oil or grease on here before I install it. Here's the airline right here. I'm not going to service the airline or do anything to the airline because we have no leaks currently. We had no leaks in this entire solenoid, but it's always good practice to replace the O-rings. Okay, before I put this airbag in, I want to point out one more thing. The old airbag, I never applied any type of protectant to it or anything. I got 9 years of service out of it. As you can see, this one has a bit of a sheen to it, not too much, but I did apply a protectant to it. As far as I'm concerned, Aerospace 303 protectant is the best thing on the planet. It's not your typical Armor All. It's an actual protectant that was originally developed by or for NASA. It's great stuff. You spray it on a few times, you work it in real good with your hands, let it set for a couple hours, and you can wipe it off with the microfiber towel. And you can do that to your tires in your vehicle as well. Do it once a year, inside, outside tread, and they should last much longer and not crack. The original one was in a white bottle. You may be familiar. I couldn't find it. I did call the company and they say this is the same formula. So there's a little tip for you right there.
We're going to use a little bit of a light oil stone to oil the O-rings. As you can see, we are currently fitting the bag in.
Okay, I'm taking it out for a reason and I'll show you. Film right here. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
The old metal retainer stayed in there. You have to get that out. Okay. Okay, now go ahead and reinstall it. First thing we want to do here, if you could film this, is we want to put the solenoid back in. Not sure if you'll be able to get this. Okay, it goes in. Then you turn it again. Here's a tricky part. You have to get those new O-rings to seat. Okay, stop recording and I'll get it when I... Okay, this is as far as we can go on this side. You can see the top is in, the pin is in, the alignment dowel is lined up. The solenoid and airline and everything are back on. As you can see, the bottom of the airbag does not meet the perch. We have to go to the other side, pull the other airbag out, reinstall the new one, at which time we will begin jacking up the rear end of the vehicle, which will allow it to mate to the perch, and I'll install it. Stand by.
We got both old airbags here. They are both flipped upside down so you can see how badly they wore, tore, and rot.
And again at 10:05 p.m. as radio stations throughout the state simultaneously pay respects. We are Nevada, and we are Vegas strong. 23 million veterans, they're heroes. We need our help when our heroes.
Alright, I know this video is getting a little long, but I thought it was worth showing this. The O-rings on here that have been on here for 9+ years, I don't know if they're a tiny bit smaller size or they're just compressed for being in there, but from under the vehicle I cannot get the solenoid back into the new pocket here with the new O-rings, even if I greased them up real good. I tried it. So I had to remove this. I can get enough pressure on it on the bench to get it on. It takes both my hands to press it in. So I want to show you. Here's your electrical connection. Here's your 1/4 inch airline connection. There's little metal tabs in there that'll hold your airline, and there's an O-ring down in there. That's what this new replacement O-ring is that comes with the kit. These O-rings replace those there. And this giant O-rings here, they're obviously for another application because they don't go to this one. And of course, there's that new clip. But I wanted to show you how this solenoid is. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these, put the new ones on, grease it up, show you how to install it. Okay, here's an up close view of those O-rings. Here's the old, here's the new. I'm not sure if it's because, like I said, the old ones have been compressed or the new ones are just slightly too big, but that's what we're working with. Stand by.
Okay, we are now going to show you how to install the new solenoid.
Now, I usually like to use a light oil, such as something like this. However, there's no way it was going to install with the oil. So I used a little bit of the red all-purpose wheel bearing grease there. Put a little on the O-rings and a little down in there. We're going to give it a shot now. So, show here how this aligns. So we drop these 2 tabs in here first, like that. Then we turn it again, and now back up. This is where we have to force it in. Okay, the first O-ring went. Work it in there. Back up a little bit for a better view. We'll eventually get it in there. Now keep filming. They need to see how it is to get in there. Well, we got one in. The second O-ring's not going. It will eventually go. You need to, here, pause it and we'll get back to you. Okay, folks, we got it in. I really had to struggle and push it down, but it finally popped in the second way. So as you can see, it went down, turned, went down, and now we're going to turn right here again, lock it into place. Now it's locked into place, and now we can install this metal retaining clip, which will keep it there so it doesn't loosen, and we'll show you how that goes in there. Just simply locks in there all the way around. Okay, stand by.
Both airbags are in, they're secure from the top, they're hanging there, and now we're going to jack the differential up.
Show the top of the axle and the bottom of the airbag. Show how they're getting closer. Okay, stand by. Okay, we just started the air compressor pump, and hopefully that will allow the bottom of the airbag to seat on the airbag perch on the axle. Which it did. It aired up and it seated. So now we will go ahead and button things up and show you the rest in a second. Okay, so what I did was I turned the airbag switch to the on position, turned the ignition in the on position, not run, just on, close the door. That'll activate the pump. Pumped activated 3 times, aired the bags up. I then turned the switch off so I could lower the axle, and the bags would still have enough pressure in them to stay on the spring perches. Now, as you can see, the 303 protectant I put on there is not covering the very bottom. So I will go in there now and I will make sure all that's covered. So stand by.
We are now going to treat this bag with 303 protectant.
As you can see, you want to spray it on and you really want to work it in to the rubber. I'm going to do this a few times. Now it's important to mention this isn't Armor All, and it's not a product that's made to make things fancy and shiny. It was originally designed, like I said, for NASA, either by NASA or for NASA, and it's excellent. If you look up on YouTube, Sweet Project Cars, if you're familiar with them, they swear by this stuff, and so do I. I've been using it for a long time. It's real good stuff. Check out Sweet Project Cars. They have some really good tips. So I'm going to do this one more time, and then I'm going to let it set. And after it's had time to set and soak in a little bit, I'll wipe it all off with a microfiber towel. Okay, stand by. As you notice,
we are jacking up the rear differential so we can put the tire back on. As you notice, the airbag is moving.
this is about the position right here it would be in normal driving mode.
Before we put the wheels back on the vehicle, we treated the entire tire with 303 protectant. We are now putting the lug nuts back on the wheel. We are going to put the impact gun in the one position so we don't over torque the lug nuts. As you can see, everything is buttoned up and we are about to let the vehicle on the ground. As you can see, the repairs are done. The vehicle is lowered. We're going to turn on the ignition and let the air ride lift it.
It may take a couple cycles to complete, but as you can see, the body of the vehicle is rising upward from the tire. When it first started, the fender was almost down to the tire. Can now fit a whole hand in there. The compressor just turned off. The repair is complete. Stand by.
The last step in the repair is to torque the lug nuts down to the manufacturer's specifications.
Okay, this repair applies to the 1997 to 2002 Ford Expedition with rear airbag suspension and Lincoln Navigator with rear airbag suspension. Several other Ford and Lincoln vehicles also have rear airbag suspension as well as front and rear airbag suspension, such as Lincoln Continental, Lincoln Mark 8, Lincoln Town Car, of course the Ford Expedition, the Lincoln Navigator, and I'm sure there's several others that I have left out. Several Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, and other vehicles also have air suspension. As you can see, this repair was rather easy. You can do it with common hand tools. I would say that if you can change your brake pads on your vehicle, you can definitely do this repair. So I hope this video was informative. I tried to be thorough and do the best job I could do for you. I hope this helps some people out. Thank you for watching.
This concludes this repair video. Please like, share, rate, and subscribe, and stay tuned for future repair videos.